Good morning, Team Alabama. We are ready to read in the Hunger Games. We are ready for page 301. Please join me in reading on your Chromebooks at this time. So that day, in music assembly, the teacher asked who knew the Valley song, and your hand shot up right up in the air. She stood you up on the stool and had you sing it for us. And I swear, every bird outside the windows fell silent, PETA says. Oh, please, I say, laughing. No, it happened. And right when your song ended, I knew, just like your mother, I was a goner, PETA says. Then, for the next 11 years, I tried to work up the nerve to talk to you. Without success, I added. Without success. So, in a way, my name being drawn in the reaping was a real piece of luck, says PETA. For a moment, I am almost foolishly happy, and then confusion sweeps over me because we're supposed to be making up the stuff, playing at being in love, not actually being in love. But PETA's story has a ring of truth to it. That part about my father and the birds, and I did sing the first day of school, although I don't remember that song. And that red plaid dress, there was one. A hand-me-down to Prim that got washed to rags after my father's death. It would explain another thing, too, why PETA took a beating to give me the bread on that awful hollow day. So if those details are true, could it all be true? You have a remarkable memory, I say haltingly. I remember everything about you, says PETA, tucking a loose strand of hair behind my ear. You're the one who wasn't paying attention. I am now, I say. Well, I don't have much competition here, he says. I want to draw away and to close those shutters again, but I know that I can't. It's as if I can hear Hey Mitch whispering in my ear, say it, say it. I swallow hard and get the words out. You don't have much competition anywhere. And this time it's me who leans in. Our lips have just barely touched when the clunk outside makes us jump. My bow comes up, the arrow ready to fly, but there's no other sound. PETA peers through the rocks and then gives a whoop. Before I can stop him, he's out in the rain, then handing something in to me, a silver parachute attached to a basket. I rip it open at once, and inside there's a feast. Fresh rolls, goat cheese, apples, and best of all, a tureen of that incredible lamb stew on wild rice. The very dish I told Cesar Flickerman was the most impressive thing the Capitol had to offer. PETA wriggles back inside, his face lit up like the sun. I guess Hey Mitch finally got tired of watching us starve. I guess so, I answer. But in my head, I can hear Hey Mitch's smug, if slightly exasperated words. Yes, that's what I'm looking for, sweetheart. Chapter 23. We're on page 303. Every cell in my body wants me to dig into the stew and cram it handful by handful into my mouth. But PETA's voice stops me. We'd better take it slow on that stew. Remember the first night on the train? That rich food made me sick, and I wasn't even starving then. You're right. And I could just inhale the whole thing, I say regretfully, but I don't. We are quite sensible. We each have a roll, half an apple, and an egg-sized serving of stew and rice. I make myself eat the stew in tiny spoonfuls. They even sent us silverware and plates, savoring each bite. When we finish, I stare longingly at the dish. I want more. Me too. Tell you what, we wait an hour, and if it stays down, then we get another serving, PETA says. Agreed, I say. It's going to be a long hour. Maybe not that long, says PETA. What was that you were saying just before the food arrived? Something about me, no competition, best thing that ever happened to you? I don't remember that last part, I say, hoping it's too dim in here for the cameras to pick up my blush. Oh, that's right. That's what I was thinking, he says. Scoot over. I'm freezing. I make room for him in the sleeping bag, and we lean back against the cave wall, my head on his shoulder, his arms wrapped around me. I can feel Hey Mitch nudging me to keep up the act. So, since we were 5, you never even noticed any other girls? I asked him. No, I noticed just about every girl, but none of them made the lasting impression but you, he says. I'm sure that would thrill your parents, you liking a girl from the seam, I say. Hardly. but I couldn't care less. Anyway, if we make it back, you won't be a girl from the seam. You'll be a girl from the victor's village, he says. That's right. If we win, we'll each get a house in the part of town reserved for the Hunger Game victors. Long ago, when the games began, the capital had built a dozen fine houses in each district. Of course, in ours, only one is occupied. Most of the others have never been lived in at all. A disturbing thought hit me. But then our only neighbor will be Haymitch. Ah, that'll be nice, says Peeta, tightening his arms around me. You and me and Haymitch, very cozy, picnics, birthdays, long winter nights, around the fire retelling old Hunger Game tales. I told you he hates me, I say, but I can't help laughing at the image of Haymitch becoming a new pal. Only sometimes when he's sober. I've never heard him say one negative thing about you, says Peeta. He's never sober. I protest. That's right. Who am I thinking of? Oh, I know. It's Cinna who likes you. But that's mainly because you didn't try to run when he set you on fire, says Peeta. On the other hand, Haymitch, well, if I were you, I'd avoid Haymitch completely. He hates you. I thought you said I was his favorite, I say. He hates me more, says Peeta. I don't think people in general are his sort of thing. I know the audience will enjoy our having fun at Haymitch's expense. He has been around so long, he's practically an old friend to some of them. And after his head dive off the stage at the reaping, everybody knows him. By this time, they'll have dragged him out of the control room for an interview about us. No telling what sort of lies he's made up. He's at something of a disadvantage because most mentors have a partner, another victor to help them, whereas Haymitch has to be ready to go into action at any moment. Kind of like me when I was alone in the arena. I wonder how he's holding up with the drinking, the attention, and the stress of trying to keep us alive. It's funny. Haymitch and I don't get along well in person, but maybe Peeta is right about us being alike because he seems able to communicate with me by the timing of his gifts. Like how I knew I must be close to water when he withheld it, and how I knew the sleep syrup just wasn't something to ease Peeta's pain, and how I know now that I have to play up the romance. He hasn't made much effort to connect with Peeta, really. Perhaps he thinks a bowl of broth would just be a bowl of broth to Peeta, whereas I see the strings attached to it. Okay, guys, we're going to stop there for today. Please go ahead and add to your facts. We know a few more things now about what she's thinking about Peeta, and is she really playing the game about it being a romance so that she can get some gifts, and talk about Haymitch. Okay, add those facts to your facts, and we will start again tomorrow. Have a great day.